of another chapter. That part of the story of the statue's deep spiritual significance. The spirit of Detroit.
Oh man, you know it's really good when you don't prepare for anything and you just post anything. That's really good. That's really good. Can people hear me? I wonder if we good on audio because I've been fighting this audio for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. The camera is acting crazy. Hello? Whoa! It's Spirit of Detroit. There we go. Hey, what's up? Who we got in the chat? What's up? What's up? I just really wanted to come on here and at least break down some news and stuff. At least owe y'all that to actually just do this one video. The next 90 days up until it was really 60 now because it's July. July 31st is a Hall of Fame game, so we got to get focused. Is the audio good? Is the audio good? That's a question. That's not a comment. I'm making it as a comment. Man, I've been interested. I've been doing a lot of research, man. I've been doing a lot of research. I should do more research. There was a weekend last week where I was just researching, but I started watching just movies and stuff because a lot of movies came out. And man, the research I'm doing is crazy. So, uh, to get ready for the season, what's up? What's up? Lima Charlie. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, so to get ready for the season, I'm breaking down a lot of passing concepts. My camera's not charged, so forgive me for that. So I wanted to understand offense a lot more than I already do. And just because you recognize something, like you recognize a flood concept or you recognize a scissor concept where you have a post and a corner route, just because you recognize that and you can articulate somewhat what they're doing on offense and how they're trying to put certain defenders in conflict. Uh, I want to be able to go so in depth with zone beaters, man beaters, uh, just because I recognize a mesh concept, just because I recognize something, I want to speak so much truth to power in it that I've been doing a lot of research. So I started watching like a lot of quarterback stuff, and it really spawned an idea about mobile quarterbacks versus pocket passers. Now I already had this idea, but I never had context to it. And, it's not to shade golf or anybody that is a pocket passer, but I just feel like in today's game to play multiple offensive systems, um, you need to have a multiple talented quarterback. In that multiplicity, their skill set needs to match up, you know. So there are mobile quarterbacks who probably wouldn't even last in today's game. And then there are pocket passers who would be better in today's game, but they wouldn't last long. And even when you look at the pocket passers now, these guys are still taking off and running. I mean, Sam Darnold had 30 yards against the Lions in Minnesota when we played them. So um, mobility is necessary. And I think that me doing all the research for quarterbacks and me doing all the research for passing concepts is. Oh, the volume dropped. It's probably me though. Honestly, man, it's probably me. Can you hear me? So yeah, I've been doing a lot of research. Me going away from the microphone is a problem. So uh, yeah, so I've been doing a lot of research just on passing concepts, on offensive protections, sliding protections right and left, and I think that's going to benefit the overall product going into the season. Now I know y'all don't care about that stuff. Y'all like what's he talking about? Probably. And shout out to y'all. But when I do tape, don't lie. I want to be so professional that no one can deny me. You know. I want to have the same exact polish as an all 22. I want to have the same energetic feel as a Mobby. There goes Mobby. But I want to have the same consistency as I had last year, which was 2 or 3 videos a week, plus a live stream that concludes or that has a film study, live stream. What's up? What's up? What's up? I think, matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you this. This is how I knew I was all right with the film study. This is how I knew it. Um, and you always, as a creative, what's up, Lohi? As a creative, you're always going to be like back against the wall. Like, am I getting better? Do I know anything? Someone could call me out on this, this, and this. This is how I knew something. It was a video. It was the Texans. It was the Texans live stream, and I told y'all on live stream, the Texans likes to go 5. They like to go 5 wide, and they like to have a jet sweep or a motion to the running back. And when they go with the running back and that person goes in motion, whoever that person is that goes in motion gets the ball automatically, whether it's the running back or the wide receiver. They mostly do this with the running back. They had 2 games where they did this with the wide receiver. And I said they do these specialty plays and they break down, they'll have a 5 wide, empty formation, jet sweep, boom, touchdown. That's what they did. And that's what they did against the Lions. And I said this a day before they played the Lions. So I was like, okay, I'm already good. Because if I can spot that, I can recognize what they're doing, how they like to do stuff. And last year was really good for Tape Don't Lie. It was really good. It was consistent. The only weeks I did not post was the Bills game and the Dallas Cowboys game. The Bills game, I was at work. I was unable to watch it. The Dallas Cowboys game, I had to go to work in the middle of the game. And when Aiden got hurt, my heart sank. So that was my favorite player. I cannot say nothing bad about Aiden Hutchinson, so I didn't even want to watch the game. I didn't even want to turn it on. And I know the players played and they won a game and they blew them out, and that was the story. But Aiden getting hurt was the biggest thing that hurt me. What's up? What's up? What's up? So, I know for a fact that y'all care about me posting, and I will post. I can't abandon a fan base. There was actually a YouTuber with 200,000 people, and he abandoned them. He was like a reaction person. He just abandoned his YouTube channel. I guess he wasn't making no money because he was a reaction person, but I wouldn't abandon my group because everybody here is like an elevated thinker. Low High, Rico, C, Lupe, Brent DeWitt, Lisa DeLorenzo, like even the guys who don't necessarily agree with me are still elevated thinkers in the game of football in terms of the content that's being posted. So even guys like Alter who don't agree with me, the guy with the triangle on his thing, I don't know what that's about, but he doesn't agree with me, and he articulates that very well, right? He actually has a reason not to. So, Brad is the best GM in the world. See, that's a claim. That's a claim. That's not based in fact. That's a claim. You have to show fact with that claim, like, and that's another thing I've been looking at, the art of debate. Because when we debate these people, whether you're a Brad Holmes person or whether you're not, and you could be a Brad Holmes person and just not like his draft, like me. I like Brad Holmes. I just didn't like the drafts in recent years, in the last 2 years. I've liked every draft for the most part, with the exception of last year. So, last year, and I mean, this one was good. Your best player is literally your 3rd pick. So you can make a case for Ratledge too. What's up? What's up, man? A guy, I sit back and respect you from afar. No, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you, man. Hey, first black man on the net, my man. Luckily, I'm in this country. You can claim what you want. Yeah, you can claim what you want. Yeah. Yeah, you know what's funny is that that's what we have to do. We have to, we can claim anything. But me understanding like the laws of journalism, I have to show evidence of that claim. And I think YouTube changed, and I'm really just talking to y'all. Y'all can have questions in the chat. There's nothing going on with the NFL. I mean, you can talk about Caleb Williams. That's really nothing. That's some dude writing. He's not even on my team, but he's writing to Caleb Williams. We could talk about that if you want. We could talk about OTAs, but those guys are in pajamas. But for the most part, YouTube is a little dry as far as the NFL goes, and you can actually go into deeper concepts now that you couldn't before. The thing about it is people aren't going to do that because they want to build on their narrative. Whether their narrative is golf is the best person in the world or we're the dominating the NFL, like we're tricking the whole league, sneaky good decision. Those narratives are claims with no actual fact. So the fact that people do that and they have the recognition and the fan base that they do, it's very misleading, but it's happy news, right? And I can't fault someone for taking advantage of the algorithm because it's happy news. How can we claim a third round pick as the best pick? Haven't played yet. Oh, that's good. That's good. Check this out. Tate Ratledge might be the starter that we have, and he's going to play for 10 plus years. His effect on the game is really to keep golf clean. Uh, he's going to keep golf clean, and we're just going to go about our day because golf was one of the least sacked quarterbacks. And we have to look that information up. But I know he didn't take that many sacks. A lot of sacks he did have was against the blitz. So since we already had a good offensive line, we can say that, you know, that was an easy pick to make. That Ratledge is going to be a good player for 10 plus years, barring injuries. I think he's a starter level player. Tyleek is a good player, but his impact on the game is very minimal. Unless he's going to be some dominant, get in the backfield, 11 TFLs. Like, he's going to have to put up Ndamukong Suh level numbers to make a true impact on the game. And then, we look at the position of, oh, snap, I got an ant on here. Anyway, we look at the position of wide receiver. Like, I think Tesla, for the most part, it might be the most talented at his size and with his speed. Of course, he needs route control, he needs body control, and he needs to be better on his routes. But I think his impact on the game, especially if we move on from Tim Patrick next year, which he's in the final year of his contract, or he has 1 year deal, he can make an impact. So I disagree with you, brother. You owe us nothing. I appreciate your honest content. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate. Yeah, he had to disagree. You see that? That's cool. That's cool. Hey, AG, I got to ask you a question. How did you feel about the comparison that Terrion had to Jalen Johnson, and what could Terrion do to get to that level? I don't know. I didn't see that. You gotta tell me that. I think Terrion's all right. When it comes to Terrion, he had the lowest separation in the NFL. He had the lowest separation rate. His plays on the ball, and he said this at the draft, his plays on the ball were unfortunately bad. Like, he didn't make plays on the ball. But there are times in coverage where he missteps or he loses quick. What I did see on film early in the year, he was doing a lot of press man stuff, right? He was jamming guys at the line, and he would lose his jam, and then those guys would like go past him, right? Go past him, and he would hold out of the effect of, oh, I'm losing, I'm a hold. Now Terrion stopped the holding after the first 8 games, stopped the holding, but he still got beat for 93 yards against the Redskins or whatever they call themselves. So that Jalen Johnson comparison, he has mental lapses like Jalen Johnson. He could probably be Jalen Johnson, but I think Jalen Johnson was a little longer. I think he was a better athlete, but I have to actually dive into film and actually see the actual difference in both people. If he can be a Jalen Johnson, that's okay, but I don't know where that came from. if that came from him, he should be the best Terrion he can be. I mean, he has something to work with. He doesn't allow receivers to separate by much, but they still catch the ball. And that was my problem with what's his name? He just left here. What's that nigga's name? Carlton Davis. That was my problem with Carlton. Great question. Yeah, that was dope. That was dope. I think I'm not too bad about Terrion. I'm just like, it is what it is. He's under contract. He's gonna be here. Um, can he attack the ball in year two? Will he get his first NFL interception? I like guys who can attack the ball. And I realized like the disconnect with me and some Lions fans is that we look at the game very differently, right? I look at who can affect the game the most. I think a lot of Lions fans look at who's capable of staying in the game the longest, like the value, right? Like you'll value Lions fans will value a guy like Aleem McNeil because he's going to be in the season and he's going to contribute and he's going to be a contributor. I am not going to value an Aleem McNeil to the level that y'all do because his impact on the game is so minimal. So when I look at players with impact, Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, like, but they're also positions of impact too. Like when you look at a Ty Robinson who went to Nebraska, Ty Robinson had an impact. He had 37 pressures. He had 6 sacks. His impact at the defensive tackle position and the versatility he had all across the ball, you saw impact. Even Hutchmaker, his partner, had 4 or 5 sacks. So impact. When I get mad about Tyleek, I'm seeing a guy who only performs well against lesser competition. Well, in the NFL, Akron doesn't exist. There's no Akron Jackrabbits. There's no Tulsa um, Jimmy Jazz Bunnies. There's no bad games. Everybody's good. So even the Jags are good. Like both ran 4-5. Okay. I mean, if they ran 4-5, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, Jalen Johnson's a good player. That's a good player. I think he does some penalty stuff. Ain't that the one? Ain't Jalen Johnson the one who he did something against the Redskins or something? He was just like waving them goodbye and not doing the play right. Ain't he the one like that? TA hasn't done much to be talking so loud. Like, show up on Sundays, bro. Yeah, that's another problem I had with him from the jump. I think it was the Twitter stuff. Um, the rookie mini camp. He was talking. Uh, you know, Rakestraw gets 2 picks in practice. He's in the interview. I don't like that stuff. Like to me, on Sundays you have to ball. I'm cool with talkers and personality. Tweets and stuff, I don't really like that. I think it's a little bush league. But if you a Richard Sherman and you take away that ball or you take away half the field, I can tolerate anything you do except hurting women and children. If you're not hurting women, children, or diminishing society that we've built, I'm good. So if you're in Ndamukong Suh, who was a rough around the edges guy, but he was good for Detroit. He stepped on Aaron Rodgers and he did all this other stuff, but I was good with that because he produced. If he was like Isaiah Buggs and did that, get off the team. And I know that's kind of like unfair in our society. How you gonna give this star player? I think Jimmy Johnson said it best. Like you're either gonna be a hard working or super talented or off the team. He's gonna treat everybody different. I think Jimmy Johnson said, "I will treat you differently. If you're hardworking, I'll treat you like you're hardworking. If you're talented and hardworking, I'll treat you talented and hardworking. If you're not, you know, life is good. Being Super Bowl expectations, yeah, and I think that's going. I was watching Woodward Sports the other day, and that was going unsaid. I think there's this writer guy on Woodward Sports. He's an older, like Caucasian dude, and he was just saying like, the Lions fans who don't like Brad Holmes or don't like this or that. They're always moving the goalpost back. It was get to the playoffs, win a playoff game. Oh, it's win a Super Bowl. But you can appreciate the team you have. I think he was saying in a nutshell, I can appreciate the team I have now, and I don't have to force the issue of the Super Bowl because the Super Bowl is in the forefront. It is in the window. It is, something to watch and something to look forward to. But putting unnecessary pressure on the team to get there because we have the best staff and we have the best people and we have you know, let's enjoy the moment. I think he was saying that. And I think that gray area is cool, but when you're in that gray area like Baltimore, where you're winning a lot and you probably have the highest win percentage in the last 6 years, it it doesn't really matter. But for us, we haven't had four consecutive winning seasons ever. And this might be the first time ever we have four consecutive winning seasons in the Super Bowl era. So, me personally, I'm starving for a Super Bowl because I've lost so much. So, for a lot of Lions fans, we're all or nothing. Oh, that was Tariq Stevenson. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, okay. I confused him. Okay. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. And that's the beauty of this Spirit of Detroit, man, because it's not just a name and it's not just me talking. It's y'all. It's the people that make, you know, the discourse actually fun, you know. If I'm wrong about something, I'll admit that and you guys actually I benefit off you guys. I was talking about this with Syndicate. Like, the Lions, they can sell tickets and shirts and merch, but the Lions know they nothing without their fan base. They're nothing. So we as content creators have to know we nothing without y'all. Micro Mike doesn't exist without those subs. Micro Mike doesn't exist. If Micro Mike posted for 5 years straight and didn't have no subs, he would just stop. you know, if Spirit of Detroit was at 100 subs right now, I don't know what I would do, but I would still feel value because I got 100 subs, and I would still give those 100 people good content. So we nothing without y'all. So I just appreciate y'all really. That's why I'm coming on here. Um, I was looking at pro style offenses, air raid offenses, the principles of pro style air raid, principles of RPOs, principles of what's that offense? No, they don't. I mean, they like it, but they don't like it. What is that? I don't know. I don't know. I forget what it is. I look at my fucking thing. So I've been researching just all these offenses and the history of them. Like, so one day I'll go in and I'll like today is pro style. I just want to research something Tom Brady said about the pro style offense. The pro style offense is a under center, usually two back set, maybe a fullback, a running back, I formation, or under center with one back set. And I'm like, there's a place for that in the NFL, but if you look at multiple like teams across the league, everybody's in shotgun. If you look at multiple teams around the NFL, you're going to be in shotgun at one point. And I was just looking at that. I was like, man, it's like, why would you condense yourself to a pro style offense? Like, the Lions don't do that. The Lions are in shotgun. The Lions are in split back. The Lions are in all these different concepts. Like, and that's what makes the Lions offense good. And I think the father of this new wave of quarterbacking and offense, the father of this is Andy Reid, because you can't not say that Andy Reid hasn't made three different people important again. He made Michael Vick uh, amazing again. He made Patrick Mahomes and Alex Smith amazing. So I think when the league saw that, they said, you know what, we're gonna get mobile quarterbacks. And we gonna do what this dude do. Because this dude he's built his offense around the mobility and the multiplicity of these styles. Alex Smith was a pro style quarterback. He did some running in college. But for the most part, everybody put him in this box of pro style, and it didn't work. And he said, I'm going to do that and this. And Alex Smith went on to have some of the best years of his life with Andy Reid. Kansas City, drafted Mahomes, which was an air raid offense guy who didn't read defense and none of that stuff. He just had one single read on the air raid, and he built that into championships. And it goes a lot into coaching. Like, like once you have a mobile quarterback, or you have a quarterback that didn't work out, a second chance guy like Alex Smith or Goff, you gotta coach. Like, you gotta coach. And man, it's just nice. Lions are not a team that has never won a championship. Oh my god. Okay. All right. 1935, 1952, 1953, and changing the name of the trophy doesn't diminish the accomplishment. I understand. I got it. I appreciate 1957. It it's not that I don't appreciate the 1957. It's that I don't care. And I know that that sounds wrong, but hear me out. I wasn't alive in 1957. I don't know if I have a past life that was alive in 1957. I don't know. My dad was born in 1952. And I'm pretty certain, since I was born in 1992, I'm pretty positive that I was not, I was born into this because my dad was watching the Lions. My first Lions game that I watched fully, uh, I believe was 2001 when they moved to downtown and they played Green Bay. And I think they were up in the game and they lost the game. It was something that made me frustrated. It made my dad frustrated because we had Joey Harrington. He was making these killer throws and we lost the game. And Brett Favre came all the way back. That's the pain I feel from 2001 up until what we in 2025. So I probably have like 20 years of being a Lions fan, give or take 20, 24. So it's not that I don't care about, you know, well, it's not that I don't diminish the 1957. It's just that I wasn't there for it. I don't know those players. I don't know nothing. All I know is the earliest I can go back is Harrington, Kevin Jones, Ramirez, Jeff Sackis. Like that's where I was baptized in. You know, uh, I was just looking at a video talking about those types of offenses yesterday. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Wait, what? You wasn't alive either. Whoa, I had no idea. I thought you was a grandpa now. You a great grandpa now. I was just looking at video. Yep, yep. Yeah, I've been looking at that too. Mm. It's really important to me to, I don't know, just understand offense so much that, I'm Ben Johnson. Just recognizing ain't enough. I want to I want to show Lions fans that we're using air raid concepts. I want to show Lions fans that we're using RPO schemes, which we have. I want to show Lions fans that we're using the strength in the Detroit Lions is the multiplicity of the actual offense. Our running game was diverse. Our passing game is very diverse. We're not just running a zone beater over here, a man beater over here. We're running so many different concepts, four verts. We're running air raid principles. And so many Lions fans are just saying, oh, just Ben Johnson's a genius, or golf is great. See the read? See that throw on the line? And that's lame as hell, bro. Uh my man said born in 1960. Oh my God. Yeah, yeah, I had no idea. So okay, you just a little younger than my dad then. Okay. God bless you. I kind of feel the same way about the Pistons. I'm 19 and I was born the exact year they made the finals. I understand they won the years before, but the basketball I've watched has been mediocre. Absolutely, bro. Um, God bless you, bro. Being 19, man. Like that's you at a critical age where now you can actually decide and go, move. I was around and I was alive at that time, and I will say this: I believe that's how basketball should have been played, and I'm one of those people, right? And I was like, these guys are so tough, and these guys are gritty, and da 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 da. So, but when the 3-point shot became like crazy, like, and thanks to Steph Curry and obviously guys like Ray Allen, I embraced the 3-point shot. With guys like Billups, I embraced the 3-point shot. But those guys had defense first. Um, it worked until it didn't work. And, the Pistons team now, I feel like can play that same style, but they're like pieces away. But they're still like a go to work Pistons team. And I feel as though, like, when you're old, like me, and you experience winning a championship and you seen winning a championship this way, that's all you freaking know. That's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I told you you could win a championship shooting nothing but threes, you would tell me I'm crazy. But then we have Golden State, and Golden State changed the league. So it's the same way applies in football. Um, they won a certain way with Sammy Baugh. They won a certain way with Joe Montana. They won a certain way. Even Joe Montana was thought to be an experiment. The West Coast offense was an experiment because it was stressing the field horizontally and not vertically. The passing game before Bill Walsh was vertical, and then it stretched obviously to this horizontal quick game, and that's what made people start thinking. Um, until that team had the number one offense and went 6-10, and they thought it was a gimmick. The next year, they won a championship. I believe that was 1989 with Dallas, not Dallas Clark, but they had some guy named Clark. They had a couple guys. This was before Rice and them. And then it was 79. That was 79. Then so 79, no, 81 they won a championship. 79 they drafted Montana and everything. And I believe 81 and 82, no, 81 they won a championship, and people started realizing, wow, I could play quarterback differently, or I can do a horizontal passing game. It's so crazy, bro. Who's your NBA GOAT? That's a great question. Here's what I will say. I respect Jordan, but I seen Kobe. I seen Kobe score 81. I seen the game. It was on TV. Um, that's when NBA was on ABC, and it was like Kobe's first game back, and it was against Jalen Rice. I was just talking about this. It was against Jalen Rose, and he had 81 points, and he had to score 20 in every quarter just to accomplish that, and he accomplished it. And that's my NBA GOAT is Kobe. But I respect Jordan, but I wasn't there when Jordan was leaving the NBA. I think I was 6 years old. Like, I understand, and we could watch the games. We could watch it. Oh, you got Jordan? Okay. Like all time? Oh yeah. Yeah. Brent DeWitt. Yeah. I really like this. This is cool. This is cool. And we're not talking out of frustration. I know people want to talk about the Lions. I'm like, we're just chatting it up, man. I would say my GOAT is Kobe. I respect Jordan a lot. I just feel like Jordan is the most clutch player in the NBA. And just Kobe is just he's accomplished so much with nothing. I mean, he probably had two players, two and a half players all the time. And that's what Scottie Pippen said. He just needs two and a half players to run a triangle offense. But that same triangle offense was benefiting Jordan. So, matter of fact, I'm gonna actually say this. I don't have like a GOAT in any sport. I have like a Hall of Fame. I have like a Rushmore because guys are different and good. Like Randall Cunningham was a good quarterback. It was a good quarterback, right? Um, what's his name? Warren Moon, good quarterbacks. I wasn't alive for none of them, but they changed the game in different ways. They're significant. They were significant. Tom Brady is obviously the GOAT because of the rings. But when you start diving into the rings, every ring has its controversy, with the exception of the Tampa Bay ring. So when you start really diving into like the GOAT conversation, you get so many different answers because guys won differently. I would say that I just put him in a Hall of Fame. Like people don't even think Ben Roethlisberger's great. I think he's great. I think it was a great quarterback. I don't know if he had Hall of Fame numbers or if he even gets into the Hall of Fame, but you could honestly say in the early 2000s when I started watching football, guys like Roethlisberger, we had, and the Lions fans, we wasn't there. We wasn't in that conversation until we got Stafford. And that was like in the 2009. But you had Peyton Manning, you had Michael Vick, you had this diversity of talent, and guys won different ways. What's up, run the ball? What's up, man? Bill Russell, 11 championships. He was the player. Okay, I respect that. Yeah, yeah. Because I don't want. You know what's funny? How do I say this right? The value of a Jared Goff is the value of a Lamar Jackson. They're both great players. They play differently, but they still win. I think they win differently. I think you can win differently. And I think the diversity of talent benefits the NFL and it benefits what's going on. Uh, Ray Allen is great, but so is John Stockton. So is Steve Nash. Like, they won differently, but they won. I mean, obviously Nash never won, I don't think, but they're both great. And not everybody's going to think like me, and I don't expect them to. I don't even want to cater to that thought. But, I think that's the best thing is that diversity of talent because a Russell Wilson cannot exist without a Drew Brees. A Michael Vick, anybody playing today cannot benefit without Michael Vick's accomplishments. Anybody today cannot benefit without a Stafford cannot benefit without a Brett Favre and Dan Marino. Those gunslinger types. So I don't know. I really appreciate the league not finding talent, but how to play quarterback is different now. Oh yeah, my favorite. What's up, Braylon? What's up, Braylon? My favorite players are Kawhi Leonard, but my favorite team is the Pistons because I'm from Michigan. Okay, so you was born into it. Detroit sports in general. Okay, I feel that. Yeah, I'm sparking with you. Yeah, this is a black and mild. I smoke black and miles. I don't touch nothing else. I work for the government. I can't touch nothing else. But this is black and mild, man. And what's funny is like people always think I'm smoking weed on stream. It's never that. Uh, but I'm cool with whatever people do as long as it's safe. Um, you know, I actually have three golden rules. As long as what you're doing does not affect the next person or the next, next man, next child, or your family, it's okay. Like it's gonna affect your health, and you're gonna deal with the consequences, whatever it is. But as long as I'm not like drinking and driving or some like that, like me personally, I do not want to take anything negative I do at home into society and be operating motor vehicles or equipment or whatever. So if I smoke on stream, I hope I'm not hurting anybody, and I hope I'm being professional. Uh, but you know, that's my own thing. My own thing. I have a big stance against drunk driving. I have a huge stance against that, and it's due to impact. or inebriated driving because weed is legal now. Jordan had Pippen. Yeah, Jordan had Pippen, and he had Horace Grant, and he had some good players. He had good players to fit what he did. And you know what's funny is we diminish that so much. Is we diminish the fact that people people can be great, but when they have great players around them, I don't think this offensive line can exist, or golf's production cannot exist without this offensive line. I don't think that's possible. And I don't think he cannot exist without an Amon-Ra St. Brown. You have to put great players around him. It's when I see like this Stafford message of, "Oh, I never had a great player around me," but your wide receivers in the Hall of Fame. You have a triple crown wide receiver too, who was pretty damn good. And now I think now he has another great wide receiver. Um, we could say honestly that Stafford is a great player, but he still needs great people around him. I think the only person to benefit with nobodies who's the only quarterback to make Tom Brady. He could benefit with a Rashay Caldwell. He could benefit with Amendola. He could benefit with all his players around him injured and win a playoff game against the San Diego Chargers. But that's an anomaly. That's Everybody's been chasing Brady for this long. And I'm so glad the league is actually expanding into multiplicity. Uh, Wait, Matthew Stafford said that? Matthew Stafford said what? Matthew Stafford said, no, anything I'm saying, I said. I didn't quote Matthew. Because, the narrative about he didn't have great players. No, the media spun that narrative. The media spun that narrative that in Detroit he had nothing. He didn't have an offensive line. He didn't have this. He didn't have that. Um, and I just don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. The media spun that narrative. He never said it. He never said that. Just the media, when he first went to LA, I just didn't appreciate how they were spinning like he finally can get a championship. Well, he did, but still, what Stafford needed was a great coach. And that was it. He needed someone that wasn't trying to change him. He had Jim Schwartz, who was a good defensive coordinator, and he had Scott Linehan, who was a great offensive mind, but Scott Linehan up and left, or they fired Scott Linehan. Scott Linehan was not the problem. Stafford actually did better with Scott Linehan before he did anything with Lombardi. And, great quarterbacks need great quarterback coaches and great offensive coordinators. That's what they need. That's a proven fact. Because there's no way you're Caleb Williams and you have this talent and you can't go to your offensive coordinator to watch film, and you can't go to, But the way the media spun it was he didn't have nothing in Detroit. Stafford had nothing. I seen a post on Facebook about the only team to waste more talent than the Detroit Lions was the San Diego Chargers. And again, they had Schottenheimer was a great mind, but I think he gave up on the wrong quarterback. That's all. That dude said facts on facts. Oh man, you've been with me a long time. Facts on facts. Oh wow. I haven't said that. I should change the name. Facts on fact. Well, nah, that'd be hard. I like Spirit of Detroit. I got so much stuff that says Spirit on it. Matter of fact, I want to actually tell y'all something, man. Um, I want to actually tell y'all something. So, the Detroit Lions have an interesting schedule. I'm gonna bring it up, and I didn't note this before, but I think we always know it's there. But we always know it's there. The Detroit Lions interesting schedule. Oh man, is that it? No, that's not it. What? That's so silly. Remove. Hmm. I had it up here. It was image file. Is it a video file? It could be a video file. Yeah, it's a video. So the Lions actually played 3 games in 11 days, and I didn't even catch this. We play 3 games in 11 days. And it's because of this Turkey Day. I think we do this twice. Let me get rid of this. And we fared good against this before. But look, I want you to look at Philadelphia, New York Giants, row 11, week 11 is Philadelphia, New York Giants, and a 27th. Oh, yeah, 27th. So Green Bay, Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving, we play Green Bay. 4 days before that, on a Sunday, we play the Giants and then Philadelphia. I think the Lions did win their three in a row, or 3 games in 11 days last year. Yeah, they won that because they didn't take their really first loss until Tampa Bay, and then they went 15-1. No, they went 13-1, and then won a game, and then it was 14-1. Then they lost a game, and then obviously they won the last game. But that's a tough slate, man. That's a tough slate. The Giants got such good pass rushers. The Giants kind of built themselves into, I don't want to say the Eagles, but they got like 4 great pass rushers. And then Philadelphia pass rushers, Green Bay. I'm going to go out on a limb and say we're going to drop one of those games. Philadelphia, New York Giants, and Green Bay. I don't know who. If we can get through that gauntlet, I would like that. If we can get through that. Oh yeah, that's brutal. See, yeah, it's the level of talent that they play in those 3 games. It's just the level of talent. Like New York Giants they're a joke of a team organizationally because of their GM, but if you look at the personnel he's brought in good personnel, and Daboll is a good coach. They were hampered because they had this allegiance to this quarterback they had. And I don't know if Russell Wilson can do something with them, or if, around that time Jackson Dart is starting. Like, I don't even think that Dabo is going to ask Russell Wilson or Jackson Dart or Winston, whoever. I don't even think that he's going to ask them to do much. I think he's going to ask them to, this is my playbook. I like to attack the seams. I like to attack vertical. I will play quick game, whatever. I want to win games. And I think that's a good coordinator. I think that Dabo is a good coordinator. I just feel like they were just hampered by this allegiance to a quarterback, because you don't want to be wrong about quarterback. You don't. Oh, same as 2 years ago. Third game was 11 games. I think NFL doesn't want us beating the Cheeseheads. Yeah. I wish we played Chicago that game. They have a very disruptive. They're very disruptive at the line of scrimmage. I've been telling people that the line is tough. Yeah, the line is tough, and with the defensive pass rushers they have, that could be a trap game. Like when you talk about, I think they have DeMarcus Lawrence. No, they have somebody named Lawrence. They have a defensive tackle that's really good. They have Kevon Thibodeau still under contract. He's not causing any trouble. He's not doing anything. He had like 8 sacks last year. And I think he does sacks in a weird way. Like he'll have a game with 4 sacks. He'll disappear another game. And he gets sacks in bunches. And then you start to bring in all these other guys. They got rid of, what's his name? And then they drafted 51. I forget his name. Or 11 out of Penn State. They got some dogs. They also helped their secondary. They got the best secondary in the league now, supposedly on paper. They got, supposedly better on the secondary. But the key for us is to expose a Debo on that secondary, because he's a really grabby person. He's a Terrion Arnold plus, and I think that's going to be the key. So I'm going to be paying attention to the Giants. I'm going to be paying attention to every matchup more intently and trying to get the details right. Dexter Lawrence. Yeah, okay, it's Dexter Lawrence. Yeah, I'm like, they have a guy named Lawrence on that team. You think we can still trade for Kevon if we wanted to? I think if you trade for him, you're gonna have to make him an offer because he is in a 5th year option, I believe, or he's in. No, he came in with Hutch. So if he came in with Hutch, he's either going to be offered a 5th year option or he's going to be looking to sign a contract. Either way, you're going to be paying more of a hefty price. It's interestingly enough, like I believe this GM as well as this coach believe they can win the Super Bowl with the same team. I think if they have issues down the line, they'll bring in some cheap dude, but they'll draft like an extraordinary pass rusher. But I think they're betting on themselves with this. But if they bet on themselves and I lose, it's okay. Because honestly, if you want to be frank, the Detroit Lions pass rush is not their only issue. They had an aging offensive line, which they addressed. They had a defensive line with one guy out, one guy coming back with no leg or something. And then they have the Arab dude from Egypt. And then, like, that's one part of the component. I was talking to somebody yesterday. It was a commenter. He had commented, what about our linebackers? Even though we played a 4-2-5, we got 4 linebackers right now. Really? Because, I mean, 4 real linebackers. And people don't even value those guys. So our 4 real linebackers are Barnes, Anzalone, who else? Campbell, who I like. I like Campbell. And they have Rodrigo, but he's coming back like week 7 or week November because he tore his ACL. So that's a problem. The secondary could be a problem, but the secondary is not to me. When you have those 2 safeties back there, depending on what Shep wants to do, whether he wants to be a cover 2 guy or whether he wants to be a cover 1 guy or a cover 3 guy where he has one person in there and he's going man or he's like a cover 3 zone. It depends, but I do predict that the secondary might not be as quite of a crutch as it used to be. You have some stable people. You got Reed, you got Terrion, but those 2 safeties is the main thing, and that's always going to be the main thing for me. It's the 2 safeties. But I don't look at this defense as elite. I don't look at this defense. I think they're elite in certain categories. I think they're elite. I think they're high value players that run a high value system um, that just produce it well. They produce well. Anzalone is not elite, but he produces so well in zone coverage and blitzing. He produces well, and his numbers would be elite. Um, he's not a Fred Warner, but he's valuable. I think the pass rush will get to the quarterback because Aiden's back. Okay, but I don't know why Brad keep not getting another guy. I don't know why either. He has 42 million in cap room, and with that 42 million in cap room, I'll say this: I think he's trying to roll that over into next year, so he can be able to pay Hutchinson and he can be able to pay Goff's contract, and that'd be free money for next year. And I'm not saying free money as in terms of free money, but next year you're looking at you might have to pay Laporta, you might have to pay Hendon, you might have to pay whatever. You're gonna have to pay someone. So I think this draft class was like a meat and potatoes for them. Let's get stuff we know we're gonna need future in the future, and then we can get the parlor tricks next year. The quarterbacks next year is going to be 5 quarterbacks supposedly taken in the first round. I don't think the league needs that many quarterbacks taken in the first round. It might be 2, it might be 3. We got to see how they play. Arch Manning is a junior. We don't know if he's going to go senior. We don't know. So he's, you know, right now you have Sellers, Legarius Sellers, or some guy named Sellers. He's a good quarterback, but he's like, he has elite traits. He doesn't. He has to. He has to win. And then you have Nussmeyer, who is a finished product, Ben Roethlisberger type, where he can be mobile. He's a bigger guy, Josh Allen type. He's not gonna run all the time, but Nussmeyer is a good quarterback. And then you have, so that's going to push some defensive ends down the line, but it's a real offensive heavy draft. So if we're picking at 28, there's a chance we could trade up and get the best defensive player at 20 or 15. There's a chance. There's a chance. But I'm starkly against. I'm starkly against coming back with the same fucking team. That's just retarded to me. My guy. Yeah. Enzo's the best. That's hands down. Hands down. But if that's the case, why not draft some? Exactly. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. I don't understand the concept. I don't understand it. I know you're gonna have to pay Brian Branch because I don't think Brian Branch is walking out of here. If he walks out of here, y'all failed. Because honestly, Brian Branch is a tone setter. I'm not gonna lie. Kirby's amazing, but Brian Branch sets the tone, and like it's the same with it's the same type of logic I see with the Panay Sewells of the world, where when they came in, there was an immediate tone set. There was a there was this like undeniable. He wasn't a captain, but you felt like he was. And now he's a captain now, so that makes sense. But when he was a rookie, came in immediate impact. Brian Branch immediate impact. So I'm hoping that this defense can get some turnovers and pay Branch because Branch is immediate impact. Branch can cover the slot. I don't think he's as fast to cover the slot. I like him better at safety actually, but his passer rating when he's thrown to, I'm telling you, it's undeniable. Like this guy's undeniable. Y'all got to pay him. That's crazy. I don't even know what to pay him. Pay him corner money, $20 million a year. Pay him safety money, $15 million a year. I don't know what to pay him. So Enzo is the best tackler on open field. Yeah, I like Enzo. If I said I didn't like Enzo, I like Enzo. There's no way I don't like him, and I think that um, Anzalone is he's one of those players that set the tone as well, and he keeps this defense organized because this defense was not organized. This defense was not organized. When you lost Barnes, okay, you saw production still. When you lost Anzalone, these guys were running into each other and doing dumb stuff. They still won games, but it was still like these mental lapses they had. Branch needs to grow roots, grow roots in the D second round still for sure. Yeah, for sure. Brian Branch to me was the safest pick in the draft because for sure you knew this dude could play safety. If you didn't want him at corner, he could play safety, and he was tough. He was tough. Uh, did Brian fall because of his RAS score? I think Brian Branch fell because he didn't. He was honestly, I think that's the fault of the league. I would have to look at that draft because it could have been an offensive draft, but I will say Witherspoon was the fastest dude that could play corner and safety. He could play anywhere. He was the best defensive back, period. And after that, I don't know what other corners were drafted in that draft, but I think Brian came out as a corner. And honestly, that dude is a safety, but he can play nickel. I mean, it's undeniable. Like Brian Branch really taught me a lot because I don't have to look at a 4-3 no more for a nickel corner. I don't have to look at it. I think he failed because of his 40 time. But on the field, everything he does is elite. Everything he does. Tackling. Like the first preseason game with Brian Branch, this dude was hitting people. Like this dude was knocking people out the games. Oh, Anzalone, you know what's funny is there was reports that he was going to retire after this year. And then I thought that was like set in stone. Like, and now to see him hold out, I don't know. It's interesting, but it's not because apparently he doesn't practice in he doesn't practice in these situations in minicamp. That's what I'm hearing, and he doesn't practice in minicamp. Only minicamp he showed up to was maybe that year we were trash, but I think he trains just like Montgomery trains, like off a facility. But he also just welcomed a baby girl, baby boy in the world. Probably want to spend more time with his family. Like, I don't think it's really about money. If it's about money, the team has the money. Are they going to commit to you long term? I think it's going to be the same situation as Geno Smith was, because Geno wanted Geno was getting paid. He was going to get paid more money. He was going to get like a 2-year commitment. Like, I think Anzalone wants more commitment and money, and that's cool. But I think what Anzo is what I could look it up. I think he's past 30. I don't really too much care because the product is there. Like if you're like a Ray Lewis, to where you're playing and you're 37 years old, but you're still getting the defense lined up, you're still productive. Go ahead, I'll pay you. I don't mind keeping an older player on the roster. If I wanted to replace you, I would have drafted Jahad Campbell. I don't feel like Anzo's getting an extension. Oh no, that'd be terrible. That'd be some shit Brad will do. And we haven't yet seen Brad really move on from his players that have been productive. We haven't seen that. Until we see that, that's going to be big. I wonder what it's like having a conversation with Brad moving on from players he actually, went out and got. I wonder what that's going to be like, because you have to pay Jameer pretty soon. And the way the market's looking for a running back, you're going to have to pay him $14 million a year. So I don't know if he's conserving money to roll it over. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. But Anzo is cool. I mean, if you pay, he's still under contract. That's why I think they're not bothered by this stuff. Like, remember how long it took the Taylor Decker contract to make happen? The Taylor Decker contract was interesting because they told Taylor Decker, "Look, we're gonna pay. We're working on Amon Ra. We're working on Sewell. We're working on this. We're working on that." And then he was the last one because he was under contract. And Campbell came out and told him, like, "Yeah, this is how it's gonna happen," and it happened just like that. So I hope they take that same approach with Anzalone. Is like, look, we value you, we appreciate you. We're gonna pay Kirby. We're gonna try to work on something with Aiden Hutchinson, and then you're in the pipeline. But if Anzalone is not understanding that, that's a bigger problem. You know what I mean? Because Hutch's contract is. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say this, and you're not gonna like it, but Anzalone contract comes after Aiden Hutchinson. We have to figure out if we're gonna get a $40 million a year defensive end, or we're gonna get a $20 million a year defensive end. Because that Myles Garrett stuff has literally reset the market. And Hutchinson was on a tear. And I don't understand why nobody realizes we kind of dodged a bullet. I'm sorry. I love Hutchinson. He's my favorite player. And then, well, Kirby's my favorite player. It would be, yeah. But it's 1A, 1B. But Hutchinson was going to get 20 sacks, bro. He was going to break Strahan's record. It was set in stone. The teams we played after Hutch, when Hutch went down, who did we play after that? Minnesota? Easy. That's an easy 2-sack game. Who did we play after that? We played Chicago. Guess what? Caleb Williams was the most sacked quarterback in the NFL. 60 sacks, 68 sacks. The Lions got 2 on him. Just 2 with blitzes. But if he played against Chicago, in Chicago, he's getting 3 sacks that game. There's no way he's getting 3 sacks. So that's what? 2 plus 5, so he's already at 13, plus the playoffs, plus all these bum teams we played like Jacksonville. And Hutch was going to get 26 sacks, bro. It was, and then they would have to pony up $40 million. I'm sorry. I seen Hutch in the State Farm commercial. That's when I knew his market is through the roof. When I seen him in a State Farm commercial, it's over with. He's a face of the league now. He's a face of the team. Like he's up there with Mahomes and them. He's getting endorsements, Gatorade. Like you have to pay this guy. Like I'm sorry. There's other guys who can tackle. There's other guys who can tackle. Just had a bad scheme against the Bills. Yeah, I think playing man against the Bills was stupid as hell. Playing all man against the Bills, that was dumb. That was a waste. Without Enzo, aside from Branch, the team don't know how to tackle. Nowaski can step up. Anzalone could probably walk. I don't know about that. Nah, Derrick Henry got paid $30 million. Oh my God. We gotta try to keep him. But you're right, Hutch first. Now I kind of understand why people wanted Jihad so bad, even more. I agree. Take care of Hutch first. What's up, Rico? What's up, Rico, man? Yeah, I think when it comes to Hutch, bro, even if Hutch gets 10 sacks this year, and that's a down year for Hutch because the first year I think he got 8 sacks. The second year I think he got 11 in the regular season plus 2. So he had 13, maybe 13.5. And then last year in 5 games or 6 weeks, he got 7 sacks. We can deduce that he was on a Hendrickson level. Yeah, because I think Hendrickson had the most sacks. It's going to be interesting to see where Hutch goes with that. It's going to be interesting to see because he's been very vocal. He's a Michigan person. He wants to be with the team. And I doubt he tests the market, but he's got one leg. So if Hutch comes out here week 1 against Green Bay and gets 2 sacks, I'm telling you right now, we might have 80% Hutch. And I know he was cleared a while ago, like in January, maybe even, he was running in March. So if it's September and he's got 8 sacks, 4 sacks, some crazy number, like you're going to have to give him $25 million a year at minimum. Jahmyr Gibbs at minimum is, Jahmyr Gibbs is probably, I think, I don't know if Jahmyr Gibbs $30 million a year, but he might be 15 a year. And I don't know. It's hard to replace talent like that. Like there's talent that I just can't replace. You can't replace a Jahmyr Gibbs. I was watching the New Orleans Saints fan, and he was saying, they was talking about New Orleans or whatever, and he was saying he wants a back like Jahmyr Gibbs. He wish he had a Jahmyr Gibbs because he has Kamara, but he wish he had like a younger one, And I was like, damn. They know who he is, and they have nothing to look forward to on Sundays. So, like, Jahmyr Gibbs is in talks with, like, I don't want to say in talks. Jahmyr Gibbs is like a household name because we're on prime time, because we're like Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, people saw that playoff game, and they're like, why don't they get a ball to that guy? My wife don't know nothing about football, but she like, I like Gibbs. I like him. She don't know nothing about football. Who is 26? I swear to God. I ain't lying, bro. I liked hearing that Manu, it was in training in Arizona with Decker. Okay. Everyone is raving about 2 rookie OL, but Mahogany isn't going anywhere. And Graham Glasgow might have 1 more year. I think, yeah, Graham Glasgow has 1 year left on his contract. And I think that, the succession of the offensive line is good. The succession. We've never had that before. We can pass the baton now on the offensive line. Like, Halaputi Vaitai, what was that, 23 23, we finally got a healthy Halaputi Vaitai, and he was here in the Patricia era, which was what, 2020. So, you know, we finally got a Halaputi Vaitai. But then I think he got hurt again, and we had Graham come in. And then when Graham came in, guess what? Graham stayed, and we moved on from Halaputi Vaitai. And guess what? When Graham leaves, we got Mahogany. We have succession now. That's what I really like to see. And that's what I can say Brad Holmes did well. He's fortified this offensive line in the last 2 years because you have a Manu. If Manu works out, what you're looking for Manu is you're looking for him to be like Decker at least. And Decker's not an elite left tackle. Decker averages what, 8-9 sacks a year. Decker's not an elite left tackle, but he's a good left tackle, right? You know, like if you get Manu on a level of that, where he understands everything that's going on. If the protection slides this way, if the protection slides that way, his technique, if he's getting off the ball, if you get Manu to a level where not only is his technique good, but everything he's doing in the passing and running game is actually benefiting you. Even when we move 2 tackles, right? We run a tackle trap of some type, and he knows exactly what hole to go to, and you know, schematically he's there mentally. Now you have succession, and I didn't think paying Graham Glasgow was paying Decker was needed, but obviously, if Manu can produce, you got Manu, you got Mahogany, you have Tate Ratledge either at center or guard. You have Egubakan. Don't forget about Egubakan because he was one of the he was doing decent last preseason. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start doing film studies on last preseason on the backups, just film studies, because you know now we have a lot of new information about where we can go with this offensive line. Then you got Ratledge, and the only question mark you could say is Sorsdal, but check this out. We got Penei Sewell under contract for the next 4 years. $100 million. So Sorsdal is just a fit in anywhere. He could just fit in. I mean, oh yeah, and you got the dude Frazier. So the succession of the offensive line is just amazing. Like we have like this generational gap, but there's no gap. These guys look, you're learning from a guy who's 33. That 33-year-old goes away. Guess what? Insert Mahogany. I'm telling you, man, Jahmyr Gibbs seeing dollar signs. Hey, look, I believe you. Look, if Jahmyr Gibbs, look, God bless him. If he get 20, 30 million a year, I want to see 100 runs in the playoffs. I'm just saying, because Barkley set the tone. See, that running back stuff, I never fed into that. It's a passing league, a quarterback's league. I never fed into that because the pendulum is going to swing always backward. If it's good for one group, it's going to be better for the other. And it always swings back. Okay? If it's a quarterback-driven league because we're going shotgun and we don't need to pay running backs and running backs don't matter, okay. December's coming. And I want to see Jared Goff throw 400, 500 yards in December in the snow in Chicago or in wherever. Then guess what? Pendulum goes right back to the running back. Oh, we need a strong running game. We should have a running game. Crazy. Glow got to turn into Mulata. Yeah, you know what? That was I was thinking about. I was thinking about Manu. If Manu can turn into a Mulata, we won. We won. We won. If Manu can turn into that, we won, bro. If Frazier can turn into that, because remember, Frazier has like out of 1,000 snaps, he has 300 at tackle, another 300 at guard, another 300 on the other guard side. So I'm liking this. The succession at wide receiver is good too. One thing I will say about Tesla is if Tesla comes in here and scores 3 touchdowns, he's gonna be a fan favorite. Because I watched the 33 or the 33rd team with Amon Ra. I watched it with Amon Ra, and Amon Ra's brother asked him, uh, "What do you run? You're a big guy. What did you run?" And the guy says, 4.43. Oh, when their eyes get big, bro. What did you run at the combine? 4.43. Oh my God. So Tim Patrick goes and insert Tesla. One person we not talking about long term is Laporta. No one has mentioned long term Laporta. No one. Not the Lions. Nobody. Matter of fact, I'm concerned because this is Laporta was the tight end that was going to change the position. That's what my boy from San Francisco said. Laporta was going to be the guy to be the highest paid. He was going to be the next up. He said that at tight end U. He said that in interviews. Like if you watch Kittle, that's his name. If you watch Kittle's interviews talking about Laporta, Kittle thinks Laporta can go. I'm talking about Antonio Gonzalez. Lions fans ain't talking about that. I love Laporta. He was one of my guys. I had an argument on Micro Mike's stream about how good we should draft a tight end in the second round. We should draft Laporta. And he was my tight end too, because I had that dude from Green Bay as my tight end 1. But I was like, if you're looking for a polished route runner, like the guy who's like pro ready right now, Laporta. Nobody ain't mentioned Laporta's contract. And you find that funny? Nobody's talked about a potential Laporta contract. We've talked about Branch. We talked about Kirby's contract a while ago. Like, we talked about the development of these offensive linemen. We've talked about Jameer's contract. No one's mentioned Laporta's contract because it's such a weird contract. Because his value in the passing game, even in the playoff game we lost, like he was getting open. Like I don't understand. I don't understand, bro. I don't understand. That game against the Commanders, the game plan should have been centered around 2 people. It should have been centered around Laporta. It should have been centered around the running game with Jameer, and you're going to get screens and all these other plays to the outside with Jameson. That's a tertiary move. And, Amon Ra, he's going to get his touches. But Laporta was, bro, that end zone catch, bro. I'm like, if you don't pay Laporta, and I'm serious about that. I'm serious, bro. I'm like, if Laporta walk out of here, bro, I have a problem. Laporta getting paid. Laporta gonna get paid by anybody. Because if you put Laporta on the Kansas City Chiefs, no, bro. Telling you. I'm telling you. Talked about JMO. Yeah, everybody's talked about JMO's contract. Yeah. We've talked about, is he getting a 5th-year option? Is he getting this? And then obviously, Brad Holmes wants to give him the 5th-year option. I think we can wait a little longer to pay Laporta. Yeah, you're going to wait. Laporta's contract is going to come when the Brian Branch stuff comes up. This is going to be really fun. It's 2026? No. Yeah, 2027? One of those years. It's going to be a year from hell because you got to pay these guys. And you know what I hate? I hate the Goff contract. I hate it. Goff deserves the money. There's no question about it. But Goff's contract, $53 million a year, is an albatross. It's an albatross because yes, that's the market rate for a quarterback of his caliber. Yes, that's the market rate. And we look at Dak Prescott, he's got 60, right? And when Joe Burrow's contract is up there with 55, they need to put a cap or do something with these quarterback contracts. Because if you're looking at remaining the same, right? Because this last year, all we did was remain the same. We signed 18 players back from the practice squad or whatever. All this Brad Holmes is cooking. Well, the only thing that's changing is prices going up. Because all it takes is a Dalton Kincaid to have, or a Jack Bowers to have 20 touchdowns and reset the market. All it takes is a Laporta to have 10 touchdowns his first year, 10 touchdowns, and then to have 8 this year with 700 yards. And he's a nice guy. He hasn't talked about his, I seen his press conference where he said, well, we scored a lot of points and we won a lot of games. Like, he's a nice guy, but I know Laporta about that check. You can't half step on the Laporta check. Laporta will walk out of here, bro. He'll walk out of here with a smile, bro. Laporta got to be franchise tagged. That'll be a bad day. You got to pay him the highest tight end money anyway. Yeah, Broski Bear, I'm knowledgeable of this. Yeah, I'm knowledgeable of this, and here's what I'll say: Laporta's first offseason, which was this past year, his first offseason, he already had an ankle injury. So going into the season after we went to the NFC Championship game, Laporta had surgery on his ankle. Then we had to get JMO involved. If you notice, we had 4 players with over 1,000 yards. So we had the running backs had 1,000 yards. The year before that, Jahmyr Gibbs had the most targets in the passing game. And see how you come with facts with these people. Anyway, yeah, 160 fewer yards. If he had 160 fewer yards and he played, I think he didn't play one game. I don't look at that as a bad thing. He still played 17 games with the playoff game. So he missed 1 week, I think, and he still had an ankle injury. And you could see it in the Tampa Bay game that he wasn't running as fast. So if he had an ankle injury and still put up 700 yards, and that's what y'all don't be getting. Y'all saying he had a drop-off in talent or whatever. And he had 898 yards his first year. And his second year was 700 yards. And his first year was 10 touchdowns. His second year was 6 or 8? That's not a drop-off, bro. Like, if you think about it, use the whole context. We got everybody involved. Everybody. Like, there were games where Amon-Ra had 13 yards in the game. Does anybody remember this? Like, week 1, week 2? Like, week 1, Amon-Ra had 20 yards, 40 yards? And then against Minnesota, he had 13 yards and a touchdown. No, Minnesota was a big game. He had a good game. But if you go through our receiver list, maybe I should do that with y'all. We had games where JMO would have 90 yards. Amon-Ra would have 13. I did the videos. And I was like, how does Amon-Ra have 13? Oh, yeah, because y'all got Laporta involved. Y'all ran the ball. Y'all threw it to JMO. It's hard to please everybody. You can't please everybody. And anybody saying Jared should be throwing 55 passes a game to please everybody, I mean, when are you going to run the ball? Because Jared Goff is 1-6 in his career throwing over 48 passes a game. So I don't even think that's not a number I want to get Jared Goff to anyway. 48 passes and just giving everybody 100 yards. Plus, tight end is half a receiver and half an offensive line. Exactly. His value to the game is so much more in the running game as well as the passing game. We need Laporta. Brad has to make a big decision in the future. Exactly. J-Mo would get 90 to 100 million. J-Mo don't deserve no 100 million, bro. He had 1,005 yards, bro. There's no way. If J-Mo gets $100 million contract, bro, you know what? That's worth talking about because that's the new standard. The Bengals set the standard, and now the Dallas Cowboys are copying that standard of having two number ones and calling it like 1A and 1B. Let's see if that works because that's going to be hard financially. If you pay J-Mo $25 million a year for oh my God, and you got Amon Ra in a contract for $30 million a year, oh boy. What up, Raw Detroit? What up, Raw Detroit? The drop off has still had NFC's number one offense. Exactly. Still. I never said, oh, no. You didn't say that. I was talking about Broski Bear. I was talking about Broski, bro. You good. Yes, I remember. Yeah, he remember because he do content. I will say people who do content, they recall is crazy. Because we did the videos. I think it was the Rams game. The Rams game, I think it was it was the Rams game. He had like this 14 yards and a touchdown. I'm like, what the hell? Amon Ra at 14 yards? And then J-Mo had 100 yards. It's hard. It's a hard job. So offensive talent. Yeah. The only thing we farming right now offensively, I will say, is the offensive line. And, getting Tesla's cool. But getting Tesla's good. But we know who Tesla's going to replace eventually. We know he's going to replace Tim Patrick. So Tim Patrick is not a plan for 2027 or 2026. It's not a plan. You drafted 2 wide receivers. There's no plan for Khalif Raymond, right? There's going to be guys we have to move on to, even though they're great guys, and I'm okay with that. Khalif Raymond is great. He had a crazy game against Minnesota. He had a crazy game against the Jags. Special teams wise, it was great. But the guy that they're replacing him with, this guy from Georgia, was their leading receiver. And he did special teams. And the guy's like 5'8". And he's literally the same guy. Watch out now. Hey, what's up, Darnell? What's up, man? Can't pay everyone. It'll be interesting to see what they go. Yeah, it's inevitable. Yeah, exactly. The J-Mo eclipse 1,100. Oh, yeah. J-Mo, yeah. 1,100? 8 TDs? Oh, man. I'm not saying that he's not elite. Okay. Because the numbers went down. What do you value more to the offense, Laporta or J-Mo? I value Laporta. I value Laporta more because of the quarterback I have. Because when I look at J-Mo's skill set and the quarterback I have, not too many 40-yard bombs we dropping. Now, Jared Goff had the most 20-yard passes of any quarterback to multiple different receivers. So there is a chance where the offense just becomes more of a vertical attack than a let's cross everybody's face. Let's do all these flood concepts. Let's do all these digs and in routes. Because the offense did a lot of digs and in routes. For the last 2 years, Jared Goff was he threw the most inward passes of anybody, right? In breaking passes. And I had a video on this in the Vikings game. And when the Vikings blitzed us with these crazy blitzes, all we did was digs and digs and digs. In the Chicago game, we seen more vertical offense. We seen J-Mo go crazy. That was in Chicago. But if the offense goes vertical more, that will limit Laporta. If the offense goes vertical with the tight end, that will limit J-Mo. If the offense chooses to go more dig routes, more stuff that Jared Goff is comfortable with, and still getting the same production, it's hard for me to put J-Mo against Laporta. I'm sorry. It's because I know what my quarterback is. Like, that's another thing in the league that I'm seeing. Like, people know what their quarterback is. Like, Baltimore embraces what they have at quarterback. They get tight ends. He throws to tight ends. That's what he likes to do. Right? So if Jared embraces going deep, good for JMO. If Jared embraces over the middle passing and the offensive quarter over the middle passing, that's good for Laporta. If we see JMO just doing like screenplays and all these goofy ass runs to the, never mind. You're gonna experience that, Broski Bear. You're gonna experience that. End of rounds. Man, I'm getting concerned. I feel like Brad Holmes. I don't know what Brad Holmes drink. If he drink a scotch or an old fashioned, he look like a scotch guy. He look like a dark liquor guy. I know he just be thinking like, damn, I could have won the Super Bowl 2 years in a row, and I got to pay these guys. So now you either got to roll up your sleeves and replace them, or you got to pay them. It's gonna be interesting, man. We got 22 in the chat. I appreciate y'all, man. I ain't even talking about nothing. If Jared can't get it done this year, we might be looking for a next quarterback. You know what? That stands to reason. Because check this out. The Lions are real careful with that. They don't want to get worse at quarterback. They don't want to get worse. They don't want to have growing pains. There is a value to the rookie quarterback contract. There is a value to that. There is a value to having a quarterback that can produce as much as Jared in the system. But we're talking about, this is a 9-year quarterback going into a fifth year of his offense. This is a 9-year quarterback going into the 5th year of this offense. So what do you base that on? Do you say, okay, Jared has a ceiling and I need to push him further? Or do you say Jared has a ceiling, so I need to push him out? Because we see what happened with guys like, who was that? Who was that they pushed out prematurely in the NFL? And then the team just took a back to, Peyton Manning. I'm not comparing them both, but the situation's similar. It's gotta mesh well. It's gotta add up. If Jared can't get it done, that furthers my narrative that he's not elevated to a field general. But I don't want to play with that narrative because I don't care. All right? I have weapons around him. I expect all the weapons to be good. I expect him to be good because of the weapons. So if he can't get it done with Jahmyr Gibbs and 4,000 yards, I'm looking like, what the hell is wrong with him? If he has a playoff performance like he had last year with 4 turnovers, 3 interceptions, 1 fumble, then you're going to say, okay, this guy can't get it done. But the Lions are going to be like, oh, well, that's one game. Okay. There is a reason why we didn't win the NFC Championship game. There is a reason. Everybody blamed the defense. That is true. The defense wasn't good, but there were some throws weren't good. But again, Jared is that's like a keg. That's like this, like, y'all ever see the movie where there's a ticking time bomb? That's what that is. That'll explode. That'll explode. These ticket prices are going to be astronomical with the cap increase each year. Yeah, that's why I choose to watch the game at home. I like watching the game at home. There's actually a video by a content creator who left ESPN about the average prices for fans to watch football, right? And in the year 2000, the average fan that watches paid probably $150 for cable, right? Now we're paying $1,500, 10 times as much. You can call it inflation, whatever. The average fan who's a diehard, who goes to the game and does all that stuff and buys the food, you're looking at a $200, $300 day. With the ticket prices now, you're looking at a $500 day. And I'm talking about a family, right? Because it's me, my daughter, my daughter, and my wife, right? So right now, ticket prices are $259 a piece, but the resellers are like $500, $11,000, crazy prices. So the resellers are, they doing their thing, but for the average person in America, I think the average income in America is $50,000. we're talking about maybe 1% just to go to one game. 1% of your income goes to one game. Because if 250, and my daughter, since my daughter's 3 years old now, and my daughter's pretty tall, she's in the 99 percentile. She's a person. So that's another seat. That's another 250. So I could try to get away with putting her on my lap, but she ain't gonna stay for that. So that's like what, 600? And it's the 50. I watched the game at home. That's why NFL Plus, that's why piracy is going up on NFL. Oh yeah, piracy. I'm gonna have the piracy stuff too. I'm gonna give y'all some links because Dofu Sports is like, I don't know, it's like it's in Arabic for some reason. So I did find out there were some piracy channels or some buffers that actually play live games, that pirate games. I don't know. It's a new thing. I don't know. JMO is more talented than Laporta, but finding a tight end on our level is hard to find. So Sam should be a priority. I would agree with that. Right. Jared is elite with time and a good OL. This is why Brad focused on OL in the draft. Look at JG's stats with time and protection. I do like that. I like that. I'm anxious to see what Morton's offense will bring. Will bring new stuff, or just keep Ben Johnson same offense. You know what he said? He's not changing much because he helped build the offense. His main focus is getting guys to trust him. When these guys come out and say this stuff, they're changing something. I mean, it's going to be hard to duplicate, and this is, not a shot at Broski Bear. It's going to be hard to duplicate what Ben Johnson did over here. But what you can duplicate is the attention to detail. What you can duplicate is the work. What you can duplicate is the ability to understand everything that he did. He stretched the field vertically. He stretched the field horizontally. A lot of meticulous study. And that's what I will say that this Jim Morton has. When he was at USC, they said he was meticulous, but when he called plays, it was terrible. They said that with the Jets, he called plays, it was terrible. Even though everybody had better stats, there was Jets fans that said he would do like this run, pass, run, pass, run, pass. It would be, I don't know. What's that word? Safe. So if we're going off what we've seen in the Jets, he did make people better, but he wasn't a terrific play caller. If we're going off what Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell has said about him and the people at USC, he's very meticulous with film study. He knows the game in and out. And also the passing coordinator knows the game in and out. So if we're looking at that, we can duplicate somewhat of the offense. Now, I don't want to say that in a sense of, he's not going to be good, but I want to say that our last offense has 600 points. Like, that's hard to duplicate. The only time that's happened is Denver Broncos of 2013. So him going in with the same stuff, I'm cool with, but his play calling can't be duplicated. Ben Johnson's play calling can't be duplicated. It can't be. I mean, you could try to emulate it. You could try to copy it. It's not going to be there. But his attention to detail, his setup, everything you've known from him for the last 5 years, because I'm pretty sure he was transparent with the last 5 years of what things look like and how to do things. I'm pretty positive, if this makes sense, I don't know if this makes sense to you. I'm pretty sure we can duplicate the work ethic, but not the production. We can be on time, but not ahead of schedule. I feel we could be good, but not historically great. Does that make sense? Golf doesn't have an arm. Oh my God. You throw it at J-Mo to feel like that. That's what I was saying. And every time I say something bad about golf, the subscribers go down. But it's funny, I haven't heard any Jared Goff chants in the last 6 months. Well, we in June now? No, it's May. So you're right. Me and you are right. We know what it is, but I'm gonna say it like this, bro. The Jared Goff playoff fatigue has to happen first. So if anybody doesn't know what playoff fatigue is on this channel, I understand. Okay, there's a lot of fatigues going around, supposedly, but last year I talked about something called playoff fatigue. Okay, it was in a video called Great Expectations. It was in a live stream video, and I was talking about playoff fatigue in its general sense is the body wearing down come playoff time. How I used it here is that the Lions fans, when do Lions fans get fed up with just going to the playoffs? When do they get fed up mentally with just being the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs? That would have to take place first before Jared's demise here. And since you are a team with very little history of winning, that shouldn't take place until like year 4, 5 of the new contract. You know what I'm saying? So if we went to the playoffs, what do we go to the playoffs? Last 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So we're looking at 27 when we're talking about, oh, Jared Goff ain't got it. Because, people said that about Steve Young. People say that about Lamar Jackson. People say that. So one has to take place before the other can take place, right? So, or an injury. But Jared Goff, people are so invested that I don't think people will turn on him. I don't think people will turn on him at all. I think Jared Goff's fan base here is so happy to be relevant, so happy to be winning. They see his production every year. His passer rating goes up every game. He has a perfect game here, first time since 1933. He's had 4,000 yards here. He's had 69% completion rating here, 2 years in a row. It takes time to say he's not the guy. Even though you probably feel that now, it takes time. John Jones worry more about the defense than Jared Goff. Oh, snap. I like that. I like that answer. Because the defense, and I was talking about this the last show I had, was I don't expect the defense to be elite in, dominating defense. I think that everybody here can agree that they want a defense like the 2000 Ravens. The 2000 Ravens had 3 shutouts in their first 6 games. They had 3 shutouts, complete shutouts. And they're obviously a historic defense. The rules were different then. The play style of quarterbacks and the play style of players was different then. So to replicate that type of defense, or even the 2009 Pittsburgh Steelers, you can't do that because of the rules. But the defense being at an elite all-pro level, what do you want to see at that elite all-pro level? Do you want to see more sacks? Do you want to see more turnovers? Because you have different instances of, we could have more sacks and turnovers like the Saints in 2009, or we can be dominant like 2001 and just give the ball back to our offense. Or 2000 Ravens. So what's the model for the number 1 defense right now? Because if your model is, okay, the Eagles had the number 1 defense, they play quarters all the time. They play quarters and they pin their ears back and they knock you back with 4. They rush 4. We don't rush 4. We blitz a lot. We blitz a lot because we can't create pressure with 4. That sounds like a personnel issue. And then guess what? We play cover 3 a lot. Since we play cover 3 or man coverage, our rules are different. We're not playing cover 4 match, and we're not playing cover 3 Mabel. We're playing either under the last guy. We're playing either cover 3, man coverage, or what's the other one you would play? Cover 6. Anyway, what I mean to say is if we play our style of play, the same, with everything being the same, the only thing we can say is we're going to have the same weaknesses. In man coverage, your back's going to be to the quarterback. So if you have a mobile quarterback, that mobile quarterback can become an action player, move 20 yards down the field on his legs, and boom. If we choose to play more zone, we have to put more onus on the defensive line. Are y'all getting to the quarterback? What are y'all doing? We're playing more zone. We're playing more match zone. We're playing more. Never mind. I'm getting too deep, man. My bad. Never mind. I gotta answer your questions. My bad. Brad Holmes. Well, what? Brad Holmes was busy, or will be busy next couple of years. It seems like people are sleeping on and forgetting Montgomery. Yes, but Montgomery's under contract for 3 more years. How many questions I got? Oh, Jesus Christ! I missed all this. Damn, I missed all that. How do you feel about what the quarterback's coach said about Hendon Hooker getting better? You think it's true, or you gotta just see because of experience? You know what's funny is I'm gonna get to all your questions. I'm just going down the list. First and foremost, it does not matter if Hendon Hooker gets better. I'm gonna say that first and foremost. It matters to me. It matters to you. It matters to the people that root for Hendon Hooker. These people in this environment of Detroit news, media, whatever it is, if Hendon Hooker plays great in preseason with the 4-game stretch, if he plays amazing, they're going to say trade bait. That's what they're going to say. I'm going to be real with you. And that's the level of lunacy that they have. Right? That's the level of lunacy that they have. They have an unmitigated bias against Hendon Hooker. We don't know what that is. We can always articulate it. We can always see it. We can always notice it. But we don't know why they hate him so much. As far as the coordinators and the people who matter, if Hendon Hooker goes out there and plays amazing, they got one. They're going to keep him on the team. There's no bullshit. My biggest problem is when fans see a good backup, they talk about trading. They talk about, let's get a pick. And you know what they do? Usually, they get the pick and then they bring in the same player or the same position. So I'm rooting for Hendon. I'm rooting for Hendon for a number of reasons. I like Hendon's game. I liked his game in college. I think he would have been the first pick in the draft, if not for an injury. And I think in 2022, he showed the world what they could do. Whether you like the air raid offense or not, don't really care. But I don't think it's smoke and mirrors. There is a situation where I don't believe that the talent you're getting right now or the stuff you're seeing in camp matters. The stuff you're seeing in camp right now is you might like the way the guy's mechanics are. You might like the way a guy prepares. You might like the way a guy has recall and command over the offense. You might like the way of how he's galvanizing his team. You might like the way how he's breaking the huddle, his timing, his use of the offense. But it is also true that it's 7-on-7. He's not in full pads. That's a problem for people like me. Because, again, Victor Bolden, a wide receiver we had years ago, was killing people in camp around this time. And he didn't even make the team. So, in 7-on-7, they probably like how prepared he is, his command of the offense, his knowledge of the offense, and they probably like everything they see out of his ability to perform the offense, especially in 7-on-7 or 8-on-7 or whatever it is with the running back or the center. So I hope that answers your question. I'm glad that they see some good product. I'm glad that he's working good. I read the article, and obviously I wanted to make a video about that. I didn't make a video because it's spring ball. Everybody's amazing. But I'm glad to hear that he's doing well. I'm glad to hear it. So Hendon Hooker would become a better QB than Goff. It depends on what you like, because they're both different players. I think with Hendon's problem, is over the middle throws. I think he's a better obviously a runner of the football, but I also think he's a better deep thrower. I also think the offense he was in, um, the offense he was in was an air raid, run and shoot style offense that really showed the offense he was in allowed people to line up further than they would, and it really exposed the areas of weakness in defenses. So with the NFL game being so condensed, now defenses can disguise, and he's not in that same offense. Obviously, he's in this multiplicity offense where you have pro style concepts, you have this concept, air raid, and you have RPO, and you have all this. He's in a Detroit Lions offense that's so diverse that if he can bring that same level of production, he will be a better quarterback than Jared Goff. But at this moment, he is a deep thrower. He is a different skill set than Jared Goff. He has the vertical passing game. He has the running game. If he can get better at the in-breaking routes, and obviously, I'm sure he made checks at the line like he did in college. I'm sure he made, checks with his mechanics. I think he can be a better quarterback. I think the upside is higher than Jared Goff. I think what you got last year was Jared Goff playing at a supremely elite level, and I think that Jared Goff has an edge because he's under contract, making $53 million a year, and also I think that Father Time is going to limit both of them at some point because Hendon Hooker turns 28, 27 this year. It answered my question. Thanks, AG. Okay. Hendon Hooker is more talented than Goff, just more pocket passer. Goff is more pocket passer, so it's a different style. Yeah, I would say Hendon can pass from the pocket. I will say the passes he makes from the pocket are different. Like the vertical passes are there. Like it's there. Goff does these in-breaking routes amazingly. And you gotta understand, Goff helped build this offense. This offense is based around Jared Goff, Ben Johnson. What's that wide receivers coach we had? Antoine Randall. It's based around in-breaking routes, very little deep passing concepts, but they do have deep passing concepts. I think that Hendon, if he gets that in-breaking route stuff good, and he throws the balls on the line in the in-breaking routes, and that's something he struggled with in college, which I said in my film study. He'll be all right. I think he's smart. I think he's cerebral. He made checks in college. He made checks at the line, and I'm looking forward to seeing him at the next level. Every team fired every other team fired him and saying he can't call plays. Yeah, they said that. Do you think maybe the Lions are waiting on Montana and Steve Young's situation after Goff and Hooker? I don't think they're waiting on it, but they're being ready for it. I think they're being ready for it. Because if Hendon, again, I think the fans are going to say trade bait. If Hendon Hooker comes out there and performs well, we seen it last year. He performed well against the New York Giants. He performed well against, I believe, the Tennessee Titans in the preseason game, or whoever we played in preseason. There was a couple concepts that he didn't execute amazingly. He didn't throw the ball on time, but if I were to say he didn't throw the ball on time, he still ran and still created positive plays for himself. So the fans are going to say, oh, well, he's a running quarterback. He should have threw this right here. But it was still a positive play and had a net yardage of 9 yards. So what are we complaining about? He's got the first down. So it doesn't matter what Hendon Hooker does positively to these people. If he has a number one QBR in the preseason, they're going to say it's just preseason. He didn't play anybody. Like for me and you, Steve Young and And that we're ready. We're getting ready. But for them, Motor City Mania, um, Joe Chap, these guys, they don't want to see Hendon Hooker success stories at all. I don't know why. We can only guesstimate, but we know why. Um, Also, the only thing I have a problem with, Hendon doesn't throw the ball fast enough sometimes. Yeah, he holds on to the ball too long. I think Goff goes down with an injury. Hooker can play us through the playoffs, but sure he can. Yeah, you know what? I'm betting on that. If I were to bet on any type of way Hendon Hooker can get to where he can get to with this team and this organization to starting quarterback level, it's going to be through injury, because Jared Goff has been sturdy his whole career. He's only had 2 seasons of injury. To my dismay, he only had 1 thumb injury or a throwing hand injury when he was with the Rams, and I think he had a concussion, obviously, but that's nothing. He's pretty sturdy. He's been sturdy. He's been a healthy quarterback, an available quarterback for most of his career. I think he's played 96% of his games. So Jared Goff being on the roster, even no, he started 96% of his games and he played like 100% of them. So it's gonna be hard to do that. If Hendon gets hit hard, has to learn to protect himself. Yeah, he has to slide, and I think he learned that last year. And I think Hendon Hooker's not Michael Vick. Like, he's not going to make guys miss. He's going to be productive yardage. So I think that, he's a little slower than Jalen Hurts. He's not going to be a guy to pick up 30 in chunks. But if he does, it's going to be against man coverage, and he's going to take off and run, and everybody's going to have their back turned to the quarterback. But I like him as a pocket passer. I like him in the pocket. I like his pocket manipulation. I like that he knows how to layer his throws. I like his vertical passing. But he has to protect himself, like you said. He has to protect himself. Also, why do you think that we're in conversations about having him a QB battle with Nate Sudfeld last year? I think the conversations were to galvanize him as well as galvanize the I'm gonna be frank with you, bro. I'm not even gonna be professional. I think the Lions brought in a third quarterback, one, because it's starting to be a trend in the league to bring in 3 quarterbacks, but it also galvanizes him and lights a fire under his ass. Even when we got rid of Sudfeld, we brought in State Farm, and State Farm produced. Whether that be a small sample size, State Farm still produced. So it puts guys on their toes. If you know, last April at the owners meeting, um, Dan Campbell said, you can talk to guys and you can tell them they're doing good and you can encourage guys, but guys got to show up. And he said that like, that's what he said in the case of Hendon Hooker. That's what he said. So they probably want Hendon Hooker's attention to detail to be at an all-time high, because the offense is very detailed. They probably want his command of the offense to be somewhat of a quarterback 2's level of the offense. I think they're always like pushing. That's it. And I don't think it was much to do about nothing, because Sudfeld was terrible. But what they were doing was they were pushing him non-verbally. And then obviously during the season, I'm sure they pushed him verbally. But now they're pushing him extremely verbally. And I think that Hendon's success comes at the detriment of Jared Goff's success, because obviously through injury or whatever, we get to see him play. But that playoff game, not going in the game and saying Hendon wasn't ready, or Teddy Bridgewater gives us more competitive edge. On the surface, you're like, it's an innocent comment on the surface, because Teddy Bridgewater did play in 3 playoff games. He, the Saints had no Drew Brees for 5 games, and he went 4-1. He went 5-0, I think. And you can say, hey, look, yeah, Teddy Bridgewater, proven winner. But as a quarterback, as a person who studied and you sat behind Jared Goff and you sat behind all these guys, that kind of hurts you a little bit inside. Why would he say that? So now Hendon's on a revenge tour. He should be mentally. He should be like, I'm gonna show these guys what I'm about. Because I'm sure he sees all these trade videos. I'm sure he sees all the thumbnails. I'm sure he sees all this. It's time to work. It's time to work. I'm not coming in here with Ben Johnson and everybody asking me questions and a grit, and everything's okay. No, I'm coming here because these people think I can't do my job. And I see them put pressure on Sourcedall. I see them put pressure on a lot of guys the same way. See them put pressure on guys like this. It's weird. It's like a verbal, like, yeah, we can draft a linebacker. Why would you draft a linebacker? I'm right here. I had 100 tackles. Anzalone asked him, why'd you draft a linebacker? They said, we want to see a little more. And that's what they did. Ben will be a Hall of Famer. AG. Yeah. We know a decent amount of people hate Hendon Hooker. I'm going to chill. I like what I saw from Jake Fromm. Yeah, I mean, you can like it too. And I think I honestly think that Jake Fromm was like, that's another jab. Because right when you produce 2-3 games and you produce in that last game, you have 2 games where you produce. In that last game, they bringing a guy off the street. Or that second week, they bringing a guy off the street. And this guy produces off the street. Like, what the hell? Like, he knows where his answers are. He knows where his hot reads are. And he knows if he sees blitz, this happens. If, that makes you mad because you studied, you hustled, you built your way to the top. You were going to be a first-round pick. Like, it's undisputable. And this guy off the street, your coach is saying, wow, he showed a little good stuff. I'm like, what? So now it's time for Hendon Hooker to build off this adversity. It's positive adversity, but it's adversity nonetheless. Also, why do you think the conversation about yeah. So I got to those. Oh, damn. If I missed y'all questions, I'm sorry, bro. One pride, doubt that. I think drafted yeah, that's the perfect way to say it. I think they drafted Hendon to like fire under Goff. That's what they did. It was in the last year of his contract. Now they pick a quarterback. They didn't pick it the first year. They didn't pick the second year. They picked it in the last year of the contract. He got the contract. He went to the NFC Championship game. He won a playoff game. He won 2 in Detroit. Yeah, he won 2 in Detroit, went on the road. Yeah. They definitely drafted him that year to prove a point to this guy. And that lit a fire under his ass. And now they're lighting a fire under the backup quarterback's ass. And I don't know why they do that, but they do it. So I'm going to tell y'all, if I'm an NFL quarterback and you, let's say I'm Shadur Sanders. I was drafted in the 5th round. People saying I might not make the team. People saying this, and this. I got to prove these people wrong. As the pride of a man, I have to prove these people wrong. I feel like I'm better than Joe Flacco. I feel like I'm better than Tony Pickett or whatever the fuck his name is. I feel like I'm better than the rapist. I feel like I'm better than, you know what I'm saying? So as a man, you going to feel like you better. Like you going to, what? Like y'all drafted me in the 5th round and y'all got me at the bottom of the depth chart. Right now, Shadur is at the bottom of the depth chart. Shadur is at the bottom. Dylan Gabriel's shorter and he's more mobile and, RPO style and run and shoot, and he's exciting. I'm like, if I'm Shadur, I'm like, I turned around 2 different franchises. I turned around 2 different programs. I turned around JSU and Colorado. I went to bowl games. As a man, you're going to light that fire. And I'm sure everybody's going to light that fire. Or if it's not you, it's going to be the external factors that you're faced with. Yeah, and Goff didn't perform. Hendon was going to get his chance. Exactly. Makes sense, though. Bro, I got that from Nation. I got that notion from you. OL, you did a show with Derek and said that. Oh, you did a show with Derek and said that. Okay. I mean, yeah, you're right. But yeah, I'm like, damn. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you, man. I sometimes I be saying so much shit I don't be knowing. Be saying so much stuff. I mean, man, that makes me so happy that y'all like remember that. It's been 2 hours, man. I'm sorry if I didn't get to y'all comments, man. I definitely rewatch, and try to get at your comments. But I will say this. I want to leave y'all with this, bro. Golf is the last of a dying breed, pocket passers. Yeah. I pay attention to the ones who put in the work. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I will say this. Check this out. I don't think y'all know how much I appreciate having this audience. And the people like Ronan and Low High, One Pride 40. Um, there's one guy who comments on my posts all the time, like immediately. I forget his name all the time. I think his name is like the mechanic, the machinist, the alchemist, something. He's such a nice guy. Been with me a long time. Y'all make me want to do this. Y'all make me want to do this, and y'all make me want to do it to the level and to attention to detail of a McShay, to attention of detail of guys that actually matter, like another football channel. Y'all make me want to elevate in every way, whether it's the quality of work I do, whether it's the quality of information I give you, or the quality of just enunciation, articulation, keeping understanding. Y'all make me want to do this to a supreme level. It's not myself. It's not my own ambition. It's not, I got on here 4 years ago and I just wanted to just tell my truth or whatever. And, the people that have came in the last year, the last 2 years, last 4 years, you've been extremely phenomenal. As a fan base, as a group, as a community, extremely phenomenal. There is no buts in this. There is no buts. I just want to appreciate you guys because I'm nothing without you guys. Syndicate is nothing without you guys. And I don't know if content creators actually say this to you, but I'm saying it to you, and like for real. And all, what's that called? Vulnerability. I'm just showing this is what I think. The spirit of Detroit is nothing without the people of Detroit and the people of the One Pride Nation. There's nothing. It's nothing. It's a notion. It's a thought. It's a idea. But you guys come in, whether it's 20 viewers, 40 viewers, whatever it is, you guys make this worth doing. And I appreciate y'all for that. And I could get on here and I could cry and I could stand on a soapbox and I could say this, and this. But the fact that I have an audience to do that, a lot of us don't have an audience to say anything. Whether we love somebody, whether we're going through a trying time, we don't have an audience. But the fact that y'all give me an audience to talk about this team that I love, to talk about the game that I love, to talk about the X's and O's and what we do here or what we do with Joe Chapp and Walter Stringer, I appreciate that. So again, any content creator, whether you Kai Sanat, whether you Duke Dennis, whether you freaking Fred from back in the day, remember Fred, y'all? We nothing without the people that watch. So I just want to appreciate y'all, man, for sure. Love y'all, man. I'm gonna get out of here. I went to Cattleman's. I got these big chicken, these chicken patties. And man, I'll tell you what, I'm about to deep fry one. I got my deep fryer. I'm about to deep fry one of these chicken patties. Put the buffalo ranch sauce on it. I got some romaine lettuce. Oh my God. I got some brioche buns. Y'all have a tremendous holiday weekend. Y'all be safe. Spend time with your family. If you didn't call your brother yesterday, call him. If you didn't call your mom, call her. Just love each other, man. And I know there's a lot of hate in the world, a lot of this, that in the world, but just love each other and continue to be the treat to society that you are to me. Yeah, I appreciate y'all, man. Love y'all, man.
It is the beginning of another